Hey everybody, welcome to that 80s room. Today we're going to take a look at a toy show pickup. It is Panthro from the Thundercats. Now I got a pretty good deal on this thing. I paid $10 for him. Of course he's missing his nunchucks, which, considering that these things were released in 1985, it's a pretty common thing to not have the accessories with these figures. I don't mind collecting figures without the accessories because a lot of times when I was a kid I would lose them too, so they just remind me of the ones that I had when I was a kid. Now, as you can see, I've got Lino back there in the background, but this figure is a pretty good figure. Now he has a button on the back to move his arms up and down, and it doesn't really work too well anymore. It used to work pretty good, but not so much anymore. Now, these figures were released by, I believe, LJN in 1985. These are the original vintage figures. And I'm going to see if I can collect all of them. I've got quite a few of them here that I've recently picked up at toy shows, and I thought they were pretty good. I think the biggest thing that I'll probably never get is I'll probably never get the Thunder Tank, and I'll probably never be able to get the Castle, because those two things are both expensive and rare in the hobby. But I think with some doing that I will be able to collect all the figures. So I've got let's see, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 of them at this point. And I'm going to start putting a few of them up. And once I get maybe say 10, I'll do a whole video on all of them. But I throw them up there in the background. But you can see there next to some of the He-Man figures, they do appear to be bigger than the He-Man figures. They don't have really any articulation. You can move the hands up and down and the legs back and forth. But other than that, there's really no articulation. And you know, that was pretty common back then, the way they did stuff. It just wasn't what it is today, where you can have like 1,000 points of articulation. You can see the He-Man figures were pretty much like that. The Ghostbuster figures are like that. It was just a common thing for just not to have a ton of articulation. But nonetheless, they are very cool. The paint on this one is pretty good. The guy had 2 or 3 of these to choose from. Now this one has some paint that's a little see-through on his arms and maybe a little on his face, and I chose this one because his special feature on his arms worked a little bit better. The other ones were completely locked up. This one was at least working a little bit. So when I press the button on the back here, you can see I do get some hand movement. The other ones didn't have any at all, so I just automatically didn't take those just because of that one thing. Okay, so it looks like the LGN had released about 10 or so figures, with Wily Kit and Wily Cat coming with either Jitara or, let's see, either Jitara or Tigra. Sorry about that. Anyway, so to get Wily Kit and Wily Cat, you had to buy one of those figures to get that. Now, I have seen the Wily Kit and the Wily Cat, but sometimes the price of them goes up a little higher than I think they should be, because they are not very spectacular figures. In fact, they don't have really any articulation to them, really, and they're just like little statues on a little base. They're not all that great. But I have seen a wily cat out in the wild, and I thought about grabbing him, but the guy wanted like $10 or $12, and I had just looked at an eBay auction where a pair of them went for just a little more than $10. So I was like, I don't think I want to drop $10 on just that one figure when I saw two of them go for around that. So there it is, the LGN 1985 Tigra, or Panthro, excuse me. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you again soon.